Welcome back to Twin Terror. I'm Gary, and this is not David. So, what a difference a day makes, you know? Lots of stuff going on in the news. This might be more of a potpourri style read than just taking one topic and really digging in, but we'll see how I do. So, there's a lot of really depressing things going on in the news. I know I had recorded a video earlier that came out last week where it just felt like maybe, just maybe, we were starting to get a little momentum. But yeah, recognizing that sometimes a little momentum can be derailed fairly quickly. And it may take, you know, it doesn't take much to stop a little momentum, but it also doesn't take much to get it started again. You know, and the Supreme Court on yet another ruling basically said, oh, yeah, Trump could go ahead and lay off all these people from the Department of Education. Now, I don't know if that's an actual layoff or putting together a plan for a layoff like he was doing with the other government agencies. I frankly didn't look that closely into it. But, you know, that was kind of depressing. And just a couple of other things that were in the news just make me just really sad. But then there's a couple of bright spots. I was watching the video. I finally had some time today. I watched the video with Dr. Lena and Judith and Wallace from Bold Not Old. And one of the points they brought up, I think it was Dr. Lena brought it up, was, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but it's basically there's no one coming to save us necessarily. What's going to bring an end to this whole nonsense with Trump is when the American voters have said we've had enough. Okay, that you've gone too far, you've done too much, you've taken this too far, and we are now pushing back. And that kind of resonated with me. And one of the things that kind of gives you that little nugget of hope, ever the optimist I am, blind squirrel, if you're watching this, feel free to flame me for being overly optimistic. But there was a Gallup poll that came out recently. I think it came out on Friday. And some of the topics were on, it was one of the topics they covered was immigration. And there's been a fairly significant shift in people's views on immigration. And basically, in the poll, one of the questions, was what percentage of the population wants immigration decreased in the United States? So less immigration. And in 2025, the overall result is they polled 1,400 people. And in 2024, 55% wanted less immigration. And in 2024, 55% wanted less immigration. In 2025, only 30% wanted less immigration. So that's a 25 percentage point drop. That's pretty significant. That's like almost a 50% drop. And by party lines, it was actually kind of shocking. The Republicans who wanted immigration reduced, it dropped from 88% of Republicans in 2024 to 48%. That's a huge, huge percentage point drop. Independents went from 51% to 30%, wanted less immigration, and the Democrats went from 28% wanted less immigration in 2024 to 16% in 2025. So major shift in how people, their desire for less immigration into the United States. A follow-on question was viewpoint on immigration, whether people look at immigration as a good thing or a bad thing for our country. And in 2024, 64% saw immigration as a good thing and 32% saw immigration as a bad thing. In 2025, that's gone from 64% to 79%, so 15 percentage points up. And bad went from 32 down to 17, a 15 percentage point drop. So people's viewpoints on immigration are changing. They're seeing it as a good thing. I mean, there's a lot of us on this channel that are like giving it the collective duh. But, you know, we're not the ones that needed to learn the lesson. The Republicans, once again, a major shift. Um, those that see immigration as a good thing went from 39% in 2024 to 64%, so a 25 percentage point increase. Independents went up 14%, from 66% thought it was good in 2024 to 80% in 2025. And Democrats went from 86% thought it was good in 24 to 91% thinking it was good in 2025. So 5% percentage point increase. So, given that Trump has built most of his policies around clamping down on the border and the immigration and deporting people without due process, detaining them in concentration camps, sending mass ICE agents in to arrest people and just creating havoc. It's generated some sympathy out there. People are starting to recognize what they voted for. And there's a large number of them that are starting to realize that this is not what we thought it was going to look like. This isn't what we meant. The other thing that's encouraging was there's a definite shift in opinion where people want to see that dreamers, kids that were brought here either as youngsters or were born in the United States whose parents were undocumented. People want to see a pathway to citizenship for both these kids and folks that have come across or that are undocumented but have been here a while, and give them a path for citizenship. I mean, that's kind of how I always saw it. It's like, well, hey, shame on us for not, doing our due diligence and, addressing this issue when it was early. Now these folks have established themselves and they've grown roots. Maybe it's best to just say, okay, give them a path. Let them prove that, yeah, you know what? We are good people and we do bring value to this country and we should have an opportunity for citizenship, even though we didn't do it the way we should have done it. So those are all encouraging things. So I want to do a quick reading on that and just get the energy on this and see how this is playing. Because once again, Trump's whole, his whole agenda is about deporting people and throwing tariffs on people. That's kind of his 1-2 punch. He's not a very smart man. He's a kind of a one-trick pony. So, and this is one of the biggest pillars of his agenda. So let's take a look at how is the Trump administration seeing this information? Do they buy in? Are they buying this? Are they disbelieving it? And what actions made it cause? Okay, so foundation of the reading is Ace of Swords. A new truth just came out. People are okay with immigration. People are okay with providing a path to citizenship. Who knew? The challenge is the death card. Well, Trump wants to bring an end to a whole bunch of these programs. Refugee programs he's trying to bring an end to. He's basically cutting off all avenues for these undocumented people to attain citizenship. This could be the death of his whole party platform. This is half of his platform. That's the challenge. He's been so busy telling MAGA about all the murderers and rapists and how these people are all bad, evil people. And now how does he pivot from that? The energy underneath is the Ace of Pentacles. They could see this as an opportunity, and they should see this as an opportunity. He could probably spin and say, well, look, we did such a good job of getting rid of all the bad people that now we can bring these people back and offer them citizenship. I think what it could also be is they're starting to see because the Pentacles things of value, but it's also money. And it could be they're starting to see how getting rid of all of these undocumented folks is impacting the economy and it's costing money. To point out what David had pointed out is that it's one of those things where learn your lesson, otherwise you're doomed to repeat the failure, and that's a possibility as well. Have they learned their lesson, or are they going to double down? Because that's what Trump likes to do. In the past, you got the Four of Cups. Not happy with the whole border situation with the undocumented workers and wanting to get rid of them. They had all the polling numbers supporting them. Current situation is the Three of Pentacles. Now they need to sit and talk. They need to collaborate and figure out what's the best path forward. Unfortunately, a lot of the people Trump likes to collaborate with, they're not going to care what this opinion poll says. If you're Stephen Miller or who's the twit that's the getting rid of everyone? Let me look him up. Stand by. Tom Homan, the border czar. That's the name I was trying to come up with. If he's just listening to Tom Homan and Stephen Miller, nothing's going to change, right? Kristi Noem, they're just going to keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. Overarching energy is the Four of Wands. Yeah, to me, it's like they're celebrating their victory. Hey, we're getting everything done. We're celebrating everything. I just don't know if Trump has it in him to recognize that there's an opportunity to pivot now. That I think he's so grounded in putting an end to this. Lesson to be learned. I'm a king. I can do whatever I want. I'm not accountable to anybody. I'm not accountable to the voters. I'm not accountable to Congress. I'm not accountable to the Supreme Court. Outcome is justice. Justice is coming. To quote Glenn Kirshner, I suppose, right? It could be that Trump, as an emperor, he thinks that this is just, hey, these people don't belong here. Therefore, getting rid of them is the right thing to do. Karmically, it could be justice is coming. And I would be just fine for that. So let's just do a quick clarification, since I'm not sure what the justice card is. So we got justice. Is the justice for Trump's and the Republicans' feeling on illegal immigration, or is it karma coming? Okay, so we got the Tower, basically tearing down institutions. Knight of Pentacles, you need to sort of think and reconsider what you're doing. And then you got the Four of Pentacles. To me, this is Trump's thinking that this is just, I'm going to break down all these institutions that have been supporting this illegal immigration. This is what I want. These are the things that I value, and this is what I want. And there's nothing you can do to stop me, is basically what I'm getting from that card. You just sit back and watch me go, because there's nothing you can do to stop me. Okay, so to me, that's what the Justice card means. It's not that karma's coming around. It's just that Trump thinks it's just because he's the king. Yay us. So let's see. How is this going to play out in the elections? Will the Republicans pay a price for Trump's unwillingness to pivot on this? Let me do one more shuffle. Is there a karmic price? Is there a price at the polls that the Republicans are going to pay for Trump's unwillingness to change his tactics because he's a one-trick pony? Okay, let's take a quick look. Will the Republicans pay a price? Okay, foundation is the Six of Wands. Hey, we're victorious. Okay, we're gonna be victorious if we do this. Knight of Cups. All right, so that's making it an offer. It's probably how they're trying to sell it. Hey, we did what we said. We got rid of all these undocumented people, but the problem is that emotionally people are seeing what's happening and they're not happy about it. And there's the Death card again. Underneath it, hey, we brought this to an end. This is an end of the cycle. it's also interesting because, as we like to say, the king is dead, long live the king. This could be what finally starts to kill off the whole MAGA party, that whole MAGA movement. In the past, you had the Two of Pentacles. It's just Trump doing what he needs to do to keep the red hats happy. High Priestess is the current energy, keeping the secrets, the divine knowledge. Ask the right question, you get the right answer. So are they going to pay a price? It's possible. If people are digging and getting to the bottom of things and understanding what the situation is, basically this could just simply be do your own research, MAGA. Overarching energy is Five of Wands, the chaos that's been created by this. Trump thrives on this. Lesson to be learned is the Seven of Swords. They're just taking away stuff. You're taking away the workers. You're taking away the people that are doing the really backbreaking jobs. And there's not going to be really anyone there to replace them. They want kids to pick crops in the fields now out in Florida. And this is one of those things where I'm getting the feeling that they're going to pay the price if your mainstream Republican, the one that hasn't consumed all the MAGA Kool-Aid, really put some critical thought into this whole program. That's what I'm getting. And the world, end of a cycle. So we got two end of cycle cards. We got the death card and the world card. And the chaos is it's too much. People just get weary of it. And it's time to move on. We're tired of this. That's kind of what I'm getting. I'm just feeling that there's going to be a price to pay. And it's going to manifest itself between now and the 2026 elections. Okay. In other news, just kind of a fun reading. Governor Abbott is keeping secrets. So I guess Governor Abbott in Texas, he and Elon Musk have been having lots of email conversations, and Governor Abbott is trying to keep these communications with Musk confidential. There was an agency that basically did a Public Records Act to get the emails the communications between Governor Abbott and Elon Musk, and they had to pay like a couple $100 for the time it was going to take them to pull the emails together. And then Matthew Taylor, the public information coordinator for the state of Texas, basically said that these are private exchanges with, these emails that Abbott had are private exchanges with lawyers. They're details about policy making decisions and information that would reveal how the state entices companies to invest in the state of Texas. Releasing them to the public would have a chilling effect on the frank and open discussion necessary for the decision-making process. Oh boy. If you weren't interested in what those emails were before Matthew Taylor opened his little pie hole, I am really interested. Releasing them to the public would have a chilling effect on the frank and open discussion necessary for the decision-making process. Oh my God, it's like, translation, how much are you going to grease the wheels for me, Elon, if you want all these favors in the state of Texas? That's what that translates to me. I work in government. Not everyone in government's a Boy Scout, right? Boy, oh boy, is that is an interesting comment. He followed it up. Taylor also argued that the communications are confidential under an exception to public records laws known as the common law privacy, because they consist of information that is intimate and embarrassing and not a legitimate concern to the public. That it includes financial decisions that do not relate to transactions between an individual and a government body. So wait a minute. Okay, so Governor Abbott, you're using the government's email system for a private transactional exchange with Elon Musk that includes financial decisions that aren't related to the government. Are you asking for stock buying tips? You know, how to cut coupons? What are you asking for here, Governor Abbott? Or Elon, what are you offering Governor Abbott here that his communications officer and probably a whole bunch of attorneys are like, no, don't share that. There was an official that basically said, you know, the common law privacy is usually used in cases that involve children, medical data, or other highly personal information. It's generally not used between emails between elected official and a businessman. So it's like, Now, the problem is in Texas, this Texas Supreme Court has pretty much set it up so that you really can't take this much farther. That agencies that are, you know, demanding the information, they just don't have a leg to stand on, because the Supreme Court is basically nope, you can't have it, and it's unfortunate. But let's just take a look at that. I just want to, just in general, what's going on between Governor Abbott and Elon Musk that they don't want to share this information. Foundation Queen of Pentacles, all about the money, baby. You take care of me and I'll take care of you. Oh dear, the cross is the devil. Don't tell Donald. It's just the corruption. They're taking care of each other. They're nursing the money, doing what's best for each other, and it's just corruption. It's just pure, unadulterated corruption. Energy underneath this is justice. The Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court, allows them to get away with it. Is it just? Probably not, but their Supreme Court lets them get away with it. In the past, you got the sun. You know, hey, everything's sunny days with Governor Abbott and Elon. You know, they were both getting along with Donald, and Elon decided to move his company to Texas. Everything was going great. And they didn't have to worry about the sun exposing things, because the Justice Department, the Supreme Court, said, don't worry, you don't have to shine the light on everything. Current energy is the Seven of Swords. It's how much can they make off with? It's just double dealing, scratching each other's backs. You know, how much can we get away with without anyone noticing? People are starting to notice. Overarching energy is judgment. This may cause people to stand up and take a side. You know, it just depends on the Congress in Texas. Are they interested enough in what dealings Abbott and Musk have to say, you know what, we kind of want to see that too? Because I believe the Congress can get to that information if they want it. The lesson to be learned, Three of Pentacles, just a lot of backroom dealings. Backroom dealings about money, and things of value. And the outcome is the Ten of Wands. It's going to be a burden. It's something that it probably hasn't gained a lot of traction right now, but it's something that's going to weigh on them. And the more we start seeing more and more corruptness in the government and more and less tolerance for it, this is going to become more of an albatross. What's the timing on this burden? Is this burden going to come to a head anytime soon? What do we need to know? The Star, it goes against the democracy. It goes against the values of our democracy. It's making people sad that there's information out there that isn't being shared that should be shared. And the Supreme Court has made you basically given king-type powers to certain people. And we aren't a nation of kings. We're a democracy. Anything else? New truth will come forward. So we'll see. It looks like, you know, Congress may want, or the Congress, the Texas House and State Senate they're the ones that are going to have to take action to defeat the Emperor, you know, Emperor Abbott, and get to the truth of what's happening there. That's what I got for you. And that is what I've got on this slightly stream of consciousness reading. I hope you're all having a great day. Dave and Shelley are back from Mendocino. I tried reaching out to Dave earlier. I went to voicemail, so I will call him later. I'm assuming that it's probably, you know, he was gone for a week. He probably kind of wants to settle in, say hi to the cats, maybe do some laundry, and just kind of get back into the swing of things. So thank you all so much for watching. If you like these videos, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and hit the bell, and we'll wake you up at midnight with a new video. Dave and I will be asleep, but you'll be awake. And we just like to give a couple of shout outs for those of you that are active in the comments section. Let's see, what have I got here? Yeah, today's video didn't do a whole lot. It's somewhat disappointing. It was about the 2026 election. There's a lot of people in the comments who were asking if we're going to have an election, so I did a reading on it, and it didn't do much. So, at least we tried, right? So let's give out a couple of shout outs. How about, whoa, hey, that wasn't what I wanted. Let's see. Looking for some names I recognize here. Okay. Heather McCauley. Hi, Heather. Heather just left a comment. What was your comment? Oh, about gerrymandering and manipulations were well underway prior to the election timeframes. Yeah, they are. That's a long story tradition. But yeah, the Republicans are gerrymandering like crazy because they want to protect their seats in Congress. And that's because they want to be kings and they want to rule. So thank you for the comment there, Heather. Getting it right 2025. Hi, Candace. How are you? What was your comment? The Supreme Court has our backs. Please explain why you believe that. I see no evidence. If I said that, I'd have to go see the context of what I meant, why I said that. The Supreme Court has definitely not got our backs. They've got Donald's back, and they've got it in a big way. And we really need the Supreme Court to kind of come back around and start representing the Constitution and the interpretation of the Constitution as it's written, and not what Trump wants it to be. And if you do that, we'll get the 10 of Cups and we'll be one big happy family again. And then Colette, Carla Joe, also known as Colette Dew. You play poorly. That's my guitar comment. I sing poorly. It's a good thing neither of us has stopped by the opinions of others. That's very true. Hey, Colette, I appreciate that. Maybe one day I can get my guitar out and you can get out your singing voice and we can make the cats yowl, right? So you're going to get the 7 of Cups. Yeah, people aren't going to believe the level of talent that you and I have been hiding all these years. And then just a card for the rest of us. 9 of Cups. Let's go ahead and make that peace offering out there. It's tough right now. It really, truly is. And it's hard because it doesn't seem like anything is going our way, but it's got to turn eventually, right? And hopefully it maybe just starts with a baby step here and a baby step there, but you get enough baby steps and you start making progress. It's just, gaining hope and then having it squashed time and time and again, that's the tough part. So I don't want to get hope until I've seen some real progress, right? Then I can start getting my hopes up again because I don't want them squashed again. And then just a comment for Jill H, who can't find Judy and Wallace when they search on YouTube. Search for Bold, Not Old, with Wallace and Judy. And Judy is spelled JudYthe. I guess that's Judith. But yeah, look, Bold, Not Old. Then you'll find them. Anyways, I hope you have a great day, folks. Take care. Bye.